I've been playing Apex Legends since literally day one, and with 1,500 hours under my belt, I'm definitely an experienced player, but I'm not the most experienced, by far. However, one aspect of the game I've never really jumped into is ranked. Normally I just play pubs or mixtape or whatever, but with a lot of my friends that I normally play with being pretty busy recently, I decided this was a good time to try to solo queue my way through ranked and see how far I can get. If you end up enjoying my journey here today, I would love if you subscribed to my channel and liked this video, but let's just get into the content. So our journey here today, when I started actually recording my gameplay, is in Silver 3. Hot dropping into estates, which is never a good start, especially when I'm not warmed up yet. However, it didn't matter how I felt, because while I ran around looking for enemies to shoot, my teammates wrapped things up for me. We spent the next few minutes looting, allowing my RP to break even. As we moved in, Sparrow hit a scan, and only 6 of the 34 other players in this game were even within range. Moving past Hammond Labs, we finally found the enemies and engaged. Oof, sorry Wraith. During this fight, I did my part by wasting wingman ammo, staying true to my 71 damage. But it was finally time to prove my skill. And I actually helped, even reviving my downed teammate and dropping a heat shield. Although we did have a little mix-up about how to get out of this situation, given that there were squads waiting for us. The situation annoyed me enough that I decided to give myself voluntary brain damage. With a respectable 82 RP to my name, we entered the finale of the game. We forced an enemy to end his life in the zone rather than face our bullets, and we started the unfortunate walk up towards docks, where we were on the low ground with few options for getting up and very little cover. I snagged a triple take and red shield to replace my useless wingman, and like the bad guy in a Darman video, I immediately regretted it. With the last 3 squads busy fighting each other, we pushed upwards and did what we could. Thankfully, the Ballistic knew what he was doing more than I did, and he eliminated the final enemy, leaving me with a solid 333 RP game that took me up to Silver 2. A great start to this Silver to Gold journey, but it might have gotten my hopes up just a little bit. The next game started with me just as disoriented as I looked in my previous game, ducking in a door only to get Ash snared, then helpfully shooting at the enemy a full second after they got killed. Twice. Our game ended quickly with a barrage of ultimates and gardens. I did a little more than nothing, but eventually died mid-phase, which I'm pretty sure traps a fragment of your soul in multiple different dimensions. But that's alright, because we only lost 5 RP and were queued up for the next game. Now with that pretty bad game after that pretty good game, I was starting to fear a downward trajectory. And that fear was pretty well founded, as the next game found me losing 15 RP, which was pretty brutal considering it was a full 8-minute game. I do want to highlight this fun escape I did with Ash though. And that marked the end of day 1 of recording my games. I came back a couple days later on a Saturday of all days. Weekends either seem to bring out the best players or the worst players, so let's see which one we get. Oh, we get Death, with a side of a Wraith that thinks they can fight off 2 teams alone instead of running and crafting their teammates' banners. So 10 points down the drain to start off the day. I love this game. The game after that was mostly uneventful, but we finally got in a real fight eventually. We won that fight, bringing me to a positive 35 RP, though my performance left a lot to be desired, and the incoming storm would decide our ultimate fate. Overall though, this made up for the 30 RP that the last several games had cost me. The next game was another solid one. It started with a somewhat messy fight in Hammond Labs, but thanks to Mirage's invisibility skills, I came out of it alive. One of the members of the enemy team survived, but we caught them respawning their friends right next door. While Sparrow cleaned house, I rezzed the Loba for the third time this game, and we were officially in positive RP territory. We started fighting a team across the fields, ultimately descending upon the buildings. I think I actually made an impact in this fight, force-feeding my EVA 8 to Lifeline and then to Sparrow. Meanwhile, our Sparrow had emerged victorious from his 1v1, though just barely. And I rezzed the Loba for the fourth time this game. But peace wouldn't last long as another squad walked up. While my teammates took care of the close-range enemies, I decided to use my gold hemlock to distract the person shooting at them from the hill. Unfortunately, the close enemies were not as engaged as I thought, and I was shot in the side, thankfully trading with the guy on the hill. As I lay there, I watched my teammates' health bars hover dangerously close to zero, accepting my plus 30 RP fate. The Loba went down, but then Sparrow clutched up, taking down the final enemy in the squad who had pushed just a bit too greedily into the open. Sadly, he robbed me of my 5th Loba res by getting her up first, which I'm still a little salty about, but at least the Loba was finally able to return the favor and res me. As the teams dwindled into the top 8, our RP just kept going up, and my teammates seeming to get the jump on a couple unsuspecting players brought me to 161. But this promising game quickly fell apart when after Sparrow and Loba took out a lone lifeline, Sparrow made a decision I still can't wrap my head around, which was to enter the altar portal, where he immediately met his end. Surrounded by other squads and with nowhere to go, we fought as long as we could. I crafted Sparrow's banner in hopes of getting a cheeky respawn, but then Loba went down and the enemy squad pounced on us.
45 seconds until ring closes.
I grabbed Loba's card, hoping to evade the enemies with my invisibility, but it just wasn't enough. The next game brought back some of my hope. I had 2 gold players with Asian characters in their names, and they picked Ashe and Alter, so surely they would be cracked out of their gourds. We landed alone, looted up, and went hunting.
Shot fired. They're hitting me.
I'm under fire. I shattered an enemy's shield. Enemy down.
My teammates took out this squad with ease, and we rushed on to the next fight. I was confused when I saw the squad wipe come up because I had just fought a guy somewhere else, so I knew the battle was still on.
Another enemy falls.
Sure enough, there was a full squad, and I did my part to help take them down. But we wouldn't leave here without a fight, as a squad was gatekeeping us.
Reloading. Throwing frag. Releasing an arc squad.
But they ended up regretting that and got away.
You better keep that deal away from me. Shot fired.
Once we got into the open, my teammate got knocked, but I got them up, only for all of us to fall again, landing me with a respectable 126 RP. The next day found me on Storm Point for the first time during this ranked journey, and we came down in Echo HQ with one other squad, and my Wraith went down pretty fast. Pathfinder knocked one, and I went for the res. But maybe that was a mistake, as Pathfinder went down next. But I was able to invisibly res him, only for him to get knocked as soon as Ash saw him again, which I had to punch the air about. While Wraith enhanced her weapon, I went for a 1v1 with the Ash, who happened to be the champion, and who was thankfully, apparently, in a duo. But my teammates seemed unwilling to stop looting. After humoring them for way too long, I suggested we move on. Pathfinder got a knock with his souped up longbow, and dropped a zipline so we could push that knock. I admire his confidence, but me and Wraith were simply not close enough to help him push. Stupidly, I followed and managed to knock one enemy as they knocked Pathy. Meanwhile, Wraith was nowhere to be found, and the remaining two teammates rightfully assumed they could beat me in a 2v1. And of course, instead of running and crafting, Wraith clumsily went for the 1v3 and got destroyed. I gratefully accepted my 8 RP and re-queued. The next game was nothing noteworthy, but with a 6th place finish, I left with 66 RP. The one after that was interesting. Vantage and I went down quick, but Valk was able to run away. I patiently awaited being crafted and respawned. Except that didn't happen. I watched this Valk spend the next 4 minutes traveling from Lightning Rod down to Pylon, where she cautiously looked for enemies that didn't exist. She called in the respawn beacon, apparently forgetting that we needed to be crafted first, and miraculously she crafted us instead of accidentally making a battery. Now a full 6 minutes and half the map later, Vantage and I were finally back. But our journey into Zone was fraught with enemies and damage aplenty, and a Vantage sniper would seem to seal my fate. Luckily, a clueless Wraith would give me my much needed 10 RP. With my teammates dead, I slid into the zone, just barely. But it turns out there were enemies everywhere, so I figured I would try to get some easy kills before being inevitably picked off myself. I saw a squad pinned down behind a rampart wall and lobbed a frag into their backs. While that did crack 2 shields, I failed to actually get a knock, and my hopes of more points were dashed. With the zone at my back and enemies at my side, I tried to get into safety, but there were simply too many things working against me, the last one being a rock that was just too steep to climb. Well, after all that time scrolling TikTok and waiting for a respawn, my reward was only 14 RP. During my next game, I won my 1v1, hit some 30-30 shots, then got absolutely rolled when I didn't fire my Sparrow ult, and I ended up with -5 points. The game after that started slow, but we were only able to get one successful fight under our belts before meeting our match. And no amount of Remnant believing in us could prevent us from only getting 15 RP out of a 10-minute game. The next game, an actual, factual last place with -20 RP. At this point, I was feeling like Sparrow just wasn't my guy today, and I decided to go the aggressive route and try Ash, especially since my teammates were both playing support legends. I figured it would either go terrible, although probably no worse than it already was going, or this would be just the change of pace I needed to turn my games around. We dropped into the mill, where an opposing Ash snare immediately caught me and nearly got me killed. Thankfully, my teammates distracted the enemies and I was able to get away and heal up. With lifeline down, I came back in with all 55 of my HP and finished off the first enemy. I caught the next one in the open and took them down as well. My confidence surged, and I 1v1'd the final member of the squad, taking them down despite the knockdown shield giving them cover, and I became the kill leader. Yes, switching to Ash was definitely the play. Feeling more confident now, I used my portal to get to the roof for our next fight, knowing my teammates would remember how well I did in that previous battle and join me.
Finding them.
Guys?
I've been down. Unacceptable. Grenade. Please bubble. I've been down. Unacceptable. Another squad is on us.
Oh my god, we're actually still in the game. We're not dead yet. Now this is where things get a little weird. We traversed the map and found some high ground overlooking some fighting teams, then pushed into the fray.
Opening fire. Bound by my hand. I grabbed an enemy. Reload target. My man's got a brand new bag. Reloading.
While Loba and I fought this guy on the left, I didn't even notice that Lifeline had gone into the storm to finish the knock they got earlier, until they dropped dead. While Loba went to help, I held off the enemies hiding in the rocks, and we were stuck in an unholy trinity of gunfire and grenades.
Star. Throwing frag. Reloading.
Loba got Lifeline up, only to die to zone themselves. At this point, there was nothing for me to do because I was still fighting for my life.
We have 30.
Despite trying to out-heal the zone, they both died far out of reach, and I was starting to lose my fight. I knew I had only one way out.
10 seconds.
As soon as the Sparrow pushed back toward me, I swapped places with him with my portal.
Tear through.
Thank whatever gods might be listening that I took my double dash, because I needed them to get out of this insane situation with squad shooting at me from every angle.
Fire. Recharging shields.
I found a nice corner to take a Phoenix kit in, and I asked my squad what happened. Meanwhile, I heard the tippy taps of that Sparrow and one-clipped him. Apparently, my teammates had gone into the zone thinking they had heat shields, but alas, they had none. I picked up 2 more knocks on my way out, but I knew I was finally backed into a corner.
45 seconds until close.
Still, a 5th place as the kill leader with 137 more points on the board gave me a much-needed confidence boost that I really needed after those previous games. I logged off for the day, and sadly the next session did not go as well. It started out with one teammate AFK and the other getting immediately knocked.
Enemy shield cracked. We're close to the ring. We have one.
Right after lamenting in text chat about my AFK teammate, he came back and said he was shitting? Who queues up for a ranked game and decides it's a good time to take a shit? These queues are like 1 minute long, man. They did have a pretty good knock that gave me some hope that they might escape, but of course it ended with a -15 deduction. The very next game, I started with a rare trade because I'm terrible at aiming apparently, and upon being revived, I was immediately knocked again. Sadly, this lone catalyst could not save the day, so that's another -20 on the board. The next round started rough, but we won a few fights in Fragment that weren't really noteworthy. After Catalyst and I died, our Pathy brought us back, and we were thrust into the endgame, poorly equipped. Despite my overall poor performance, 107 RP more than makes up for the last few games. One more decent game after that brought me to Silver 1. Gold was practically in sight, except looking at my raw footage for this video, all the games it took me to get this far don't even make up half of the total duration. Oh boy, let's just do the abridged version for the rest of this video and just get it over with. 42 RP, good start. 2 RP, at least it's not negative. 26 RP and then dying to zone. 0 RP. Minus 15. Minus 10. Minus 20. Okay, that was a rough session, but the next day, I started off with a big game.
Excellent. I'm at max level. Team life. Rough play for them. Enemy in that location. Enemy far off. Taking fire. Enemy in the distance. Reloading. Enemy shield cracked. Reloading. Taking shots here. He's down. Reload.
They're reviving here.
Down. Another enemy falls.
After that great battle, we fought our way gradually to the final zone, where the last 4 squads fought for dominance. I portaled us to the roof to get a good advantage.
Tearing away.
I wanted to stay there on the high ground, but my teammates were determined to be aggressive on the ground and end this game quickly. Left alone on the roof and with my teammates knocked, I was pushed off by another team that was actually united in their desire for the high ground.
I shattered an enemy's shield.
I had to jump off and find my death immediately. Still, 3rd place and 176 was a good game, and not wanting to ruin my mood, I simply just logged off for the day. On to the next day's games then, and they were overall pretty good. It did start with a 0 RP game because I didn't get a 3rd teammate, but no big deal, that happens. Then I went into a better game where I got a good amount of points by getting 2 kills right off the bat, and I ended with 77 RP. And then another with 56. And then a 3rd place with 131. I was practically burning through Silver 1. Noteworthy things weren't really happening, but the games were going well overall. I was already halfway through this tier. Gold was in sight. Nothing could stop me. I continued on with another great game and a fight that I was pretty proud of. That game ended with 105 RP, only 200 to go. Just 2 more games like those last 2 and I was in the clear.
It is here. Shield cracked.
Next game, I took down the champion, and I ended with an acceptable 57 RP. The next game only had 14 RP because we walked around not fighting for most of the game, but hey, it's still positive. The next game was good, and we walked into a tough fight with a good amount of RP.
Taking fire.
and I ended with only 62 points, but that's only 61 away from gold. A minus 15 game took the wind out of my sails, and I struggled in the game after that too, beginning with losing my 1v1 and having to be respawned. And then I had to be respawned again. Despite me being my own worst enemy here, 50 RP was solid and put me only 26 away from gold. I'd had plenty of 26 RP games at this point, this should be no problem. Wait, minus 10? No, that's the wrong direction. Wait, no, hold on. Aha, another 1v1 by the gun arsenal. Wait, no, this can't be happening. That's okay, I'll just get respawned, that's fine. Okay, I'm back. Ah, fuck, my head. Well, that's fine. Pathy will just res me again, and oh, fucking hell.
Surprise, motherfucker.
We got out of that mess, but we still died too quickly, and I only got 20 RP. At least it was positive though. Still not gold, but maybe just one half-decent game away from that sweet, sweet gold rank. 16 points couldn't be that hard to get, right? On to the next game. I was happy to see that Alter took us to the very first spot on the map, but sadly there were no other squads there. We started a fight in the ship, and I hope to secure some quick knocks and finishes.
Alright, we can go back up. Come to me, come to me.
I broke even with 0 points, but breaking even is not 16. I still like the strategy of dropping hot and getting it over with, so next game I took us into Oasis, and this time we were not alone.
No, you're coming with me. Reload. Attention.
One kill down. But then Alter went down. And I took swift revenge. That all took me to a positive 10 RP, so just a few more and we would be out of silver and into gold, and I'd be done with this for now. Oh well, I guess it wasn't meant to be this time. Okay, now we are only 6 points away. Just one more game should get us there, right? We landed in Gardens, and it didn't start very promising for me. Nope. And it only got worse.
Need a medic. I've got some heat. Got your back.
With 2 of us knocked and a full trio staring us down, I implored my surviving teammate to run. Just run. I didn't care if he respawned us, I just wanted him to live for long enough that I could just get 6 more points. I already had 5, I just needed literally anything else to happen. As the light faded from my eyes, the last thing I saw was that +5 tick up to a +10, and I was officially in gold rank. Somehow though, my teammate wanted me to get more points, so he respawned us. With limited resources and limited armor, we tried to cross the open field. We eventually found a hidey hole, but it wouldn't be safe for long.
Enemy down.
Miraculously, Ash survived again with almost nothing. With 25 people still alive in this tiny zone somehow, they smartly chose to rat as much as possible and just go for placement points. And they played this really smart, jumping from safe place to safe place and not making themselves much of a threat. For some insane reason, they actually decided to respawn us again, and into a spicy top 3 situation at that. At this point, it was a desperate fight for survival to see if we could get any last few points in this game.
There's one.
Could we win it? No, we could not. But a third place is more than I expected and more than I needed, and I rocketed into Gold 4 thanks to the promotion bonus. So I'm in Gold rank now. Awesome. Next up is Platinum, but based on my performance in Silver, I think it's going to take quite a while to get there and it's going to be a slog. Most people can get into Plat easy enough as long as they put in the time to do so. But I find myself wondering if Diamond after that is even a possibility for me. But what do you think? Based on how I played in this video, do you think I have any chance of making it to the higher ranks, or will I be stuck in Gold or Platinum forever? Leave a comment guessing what rank I'll end up with by the time this ranked season ends, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching the whole thing. I really appreciate it.
Without you, I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe